Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to JoF TV. I'm Chuck. That's Scylla. Rock and roll. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm on a caffeine high. I'm on a caffeine buzz. Woo! I got Mountain Dew also. I know it's disguised as Starbucks, but it's Mountain Dew.
The pause that refreshes. I realize that that's the Coca-Cola brand moniker from the 70s or whatever, but fuck Coca-Cola. This is the pause that refreshes.
So, I have some very exciting news for those of you that haven't heard this several weeks ago. I know I'm a little late with this. DC finally canceled Batwing. I
don't understand why it took so goddamn long.
Neither does anybody else.
even Didio's going, I'm not sure why I waited so long.
Everything I read about it seemed to be confused about why this was just now happening.
Right.
It's not the only thing that got canceled. Birds of Prey, Superboy. Not surprised that Superboy got canceled. Killing Connor off was a mistake. And
yeah, this new version was a real letdown.
Dumb idea.
Yeah. You know, and apparently they've sort of kind of decided not to... Gotta have 52 titles. Oh, it's gotta happen. We can't have any less than 52.
But they very quietly backed away from that.
Right. They didn't make an announcement about it. They just sort of stopped
announced cancellations and not new books.
Right, yeah.
And just kind of hoped nobody would notice.
Oh, we all
noticed.
But
we all noticed.
Yeah, motherfuckers, we noticed.
It reminded me of when I first found out about it, or connected everything. Right. It reminded me of the scene in The Avengers where Tony's like, the guy over there playing Galaga.
Oh, yeah.
He thought no one would notice.
We all noticed.
But we all noticed.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they...
And he really is. If you watch the movie carefully, you'll see the scene. You'll see him playing Galaga.
And
or
then
Space Invaders, wherever the fuck it is.
It is Galaga. And as soon as Tony leaves, or they leave, you see him switch back to Galaga.
Right.
He really is. But that's what it reminded me of. It's like, they all thought, they hoped we wouldn't notice. There were no longer 52 titles, but we all noticed.
That's right. We noticed, motherfuckers.
You're not fooling anyone, DC. Sorry. No. But yes. So, and Birds of Prey, really have no opinion on. Superboy, I felt was inevitable once they killed Connor. The new Superboy was ill-conceived from the get-go.
I agree.
So I wasn't surprised there. But Batwing is what I focused on and out of that announcement because it seems like it's been such a long time coming.
Yeah, it really has. It's been, I mean, you and I have been saying since day one, this is a dumb idea.
And sales never picked up. It's always, from day one, has been one of DC's lowest selling books.
Right. They've been canceling books that had better sales, but holding on to Batwing.
Yes.
Because it's and we all know the reason. They were afraid to cancel a book that had a primary protagonist that's black.
And which is the reason it was created in the first place, which was always my main issue with Batwing. Because it wasn't a character that happened to be black. It was a black Batman for the sake of having a black Batman.
Right. Just to say, hey, look how diverse we are.
It's just like what Marvel is currently doing. And I know I don't say much bad stuff about Marvel because they've pretty much been on my good side. But I gotta call them out for what they're doing right now with Captain America and Thor. Yeah. Because, and for the record, I have no issue with there being a woman Thor, other than the fact that it's a really dumb idea to have anybody but Thor be Thor.
See, for me, I don't care.
It's just a dumb concept to me. Conceptually, I don't like it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if they got another dude to do it, if he's white, black, purple. I don't care. Thor's Thor. Mm-hmm. They should not be another Thor. We're talking about mythology here.
Right.
When you're going to pull characters from mythology, I think you have a certain responsibility to hold something, obviously creative licensing and all. There should be some, you know, it'd be like saying it'd be like DC making a new person be Hercules.
But again, and we've talked about this a little bit. There's two concepts here. There's the concept of Thor the Avenger, the hero,
the hero persona.
The persona, yeah. And then there is Thor, the individual who happens to be the one that wields the hammer. So whoever has the power of Thor is the concept.
And I get all that. Like, it's a bad concept.
Yeah. Well, if they had given Thor a different superhero name, so like you can have somebody other than Bruce Wayne be Batman. Mm-hmm. Because he's not Bruce Wayne, he's Batman.
Right.
But to have somebody else be Thor, then it gets confusing. Because, like, are you really Thor? No. I'm the guy wielding Thor's power, or the girl in this case, wielding Thor's power. Okay, but you're not actually Thor. Well, I kind of am. All right, my head hurts. And this isn't the first time DC's done that. It's the first time it's been a female, but it's not the first time they've handed the hammer off to someone else to be Thor. And
again, I think, I don't care who it is, unless it's Thor as Thor with Thor's hammer, I think it's an ill-conceived concept. The Captain America thing, I think it's Batwing all over again. It's not Marvel saying, here's a character that's going to be Captain America, and it's a great story, and he happens to be black. Mm-hmm. It's, hey, let's make a black Captain America. I don't like diversity for diversity's sake. I've said it before. I said it with Batwing. Same thing applies here. I feel like this new Captain America is Marvel's version of Batwing.
Now, and the one that pops into my head, I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the Thor thing. The one that pops into my head specifically, and I went to look it up, it's Eric Masterson. He was the human persona of Thor. It basically, instead of it being Donald Blake, Thor's human host, for lack of a better term, became Eric Masterson. And his personality was sort of driving the power of Thor. So, while it's not exactly the same thing that they're doing this time, I don't think, that's a big one that sticks out as someone else became Thor. And Eric, in fact, he does such a great job that he goes on to get his own hammer. It's not Mjolnir, it's a brother or sister of Mjolnir, and he becomes the hero Thunderstrike. And then when he dies, his brother or son, I forget which one, Kevin, takes over as Thunderstrike.
And see, that's fine. If Thor was the person, and Thor, when he got the hammer or whatever, became another hero like Thunderstrike, then I wouldn't have as much of an issue with this concept. But Thor is Thor, and I just have an issue with the concept.
Well, okay.
I understand what they're trying to do. I don't like it conceptually. But again, what they're doing with Thor and Captain America right now seems very much diversity for diversity's sake. Right. And I have never liked that.
And I haven't heard about, until today, I had not heard about the Captain America thing. Last I had heard, Bucky was Captain America, because Steve, who is Captain America, Steve Rogers, when he showed back up after being dead, he said, no, I don't want to be Captain America. You stay Captain America. I'm going to go over here and do this thing as Secret Agent Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The new one is Falcon.
Yeah, the guy that was Falcon. He's going to become Captain America. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you're doing it just so you can go, look how diverse we are, well, then that's the wrong reason to do anything. What you should be doing is writing compelling characters that can be any race. And if you happen to decide that, for this purpose, for storyline purposes, because we want to explore something over here, let's make this character be whatever. Okay, fine.
I think Jon Stewart's the perfect example of a good character that just happens to be black. Because he doesn't feel like he was inserted for diversity's sake. He's a good, solid character.
He doesn't now. When he was reintroduced, sort of, to everybody, it was definitely, this is just a cool character that we want to explore. When he was first introduced back in the 70s, it was pretty much just so they could have a black Green Lantern. It really was. But his reintroduction in the 90s was more of a, and even then it wasn't, he had been there the whole time, but he got popular again in the 90s and 2000s. And that was more of a, this is just a really cool character, let's write it well. So
which is how
version,
it should be treated.
It's being done really well. Introducing a character just to show how cool and diverse you are, that's not the way to do it.
No. It feels forced, and to me, and I made this comment to you before, doing something for the sake of being diverse, like, let's have a black character, to me feels almost as racist as not having them at all, because you're still focusing in on the race.
Absolutely, you are.
So, I don't like that.
Yeah. Now, that being said, if they write the character really well, then okay. Let's see where it goes and see how they do it. Maybe that will make up for the Strange decision. Yeah,
Marvel still has a chance to make this right if they go in and they write both, and I'm focusing in on black characters, but an unusual choice for a female too, to have a female Thor. If they go in and they write them well, then my point becomes null and void, because then we have good characterization.
Right.
Batwing never did.
You're absolutely right. Batwing was never a...
They never flushed Batwing out. And they had more than enough opportunity, because they kept him around longer than he really even should have been based on the sales.
Yeah. So
they had ample opportunity to say, okay, let's go ahead and make Batwing a great character. And they didn't. I didn't read Batwing, kind of skimmed a little bit of what was going on with him. I've seen the character in Batman Eternal. They had him in an issue, and quite frankly, he's just very blah, very boring character, not very much personality. They never flushed him out, and they had plenty of time to do so. The characters that you see pass through Batman Eternal, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the Batman of Japan.
Okay.
Is a more fleshed out and interesting character than Batwing, and he didn't have his own book for 2+ years. So that tells you something. Yeah,
it's, what are you gonna do? It's like DC does some strange shit. We've talked about it many times before. We'll probably keep talking about it. They make some strange decisions.
They do. Batwing has always been the strangest. And I have to say, I'm a little bit relieved that they finally canceled it.
Yeah.
Because...
It almost feels like... it's a terrible analogy. When you have that loved one that's in the hospital and on life support, and for years you struggle with, do we pull the plug? Don't we? Pull the fucking plug! Quit sucking up my money.
I see where you're going with that, and I have to agree.
By the way, 60 days. If I'm not out of my coma in 60 days, pull my fucking plug.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But, it took DC way longer than it should have, and this is way overdue.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it finally happened, because it clears out a low-selling book, and even though they're not sticking to 52 titles anymore, paves the way for something that might be better.
Yeah, they certainly weren't going to publish another one with low sales on a current one.
Right.
And so by clearing out some books that, we'll call it deadweight, by clearing out some deadweight, they have opened the door for other titles to possibly be made. And that's always a good thing.
And I can't help but feel a little bit of irony, because when Batwing was announced, one of the things that I said over and over and over and over and over was, how the hell does Batwing have a book and Stephanie Brown doesn't even fucking exist?
Right. Now Stephanie's
exists and Batwing's gotten canceled.
I kind of like that. That's called karma taking its sweet ass time.
But
as opposed to instant karma.
I find that kind of humorous. And speaking of DC, we've talked a little bit a few episodes ago about DC versus Marvel in the cinema universe. Mm-hmm. And how DC really needs to step it up. Well, there's been some leaked information. It's not been... Leaked. It's not been...
unofficial press releases.
Basically, yes, because it was leaked. Kevin Smith confirmed it. DC hasn't, but Kevin Smith isn't usually wrong on this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, we have a list of movies that DC is going to supposedly be making and releasing, and dates for this supposed Phase 1 of DC Cinematic Universe. I'm calling it Phase 1 because I don't know what else to call it at this point.
Assuming, of course, that they're all going to tie in together.
It is. It's all going to lead up to a Justice League movie, basically.
Oh, okay.
These all do tie in. DC is trying to take a page out of Marvel's book and have their own cinematic universe.
6 years later. That's not bad.
So here's what we got.
Fuck.
So I'll read the list and then we can discuss some of the specifics.
Okay.
So, and again, I want to note that DC has yet to confirm this. But some sources in the know have.
Yeah, this is coming from that fat bastard from Jay and Silent Bob.
Right, and he's...
Silent Bob himself.
And he's kind of in the know.
I love Kevin Smith, I'm not going to lie. I love Kevin Smith.
He kind of knows comic book stuff.
Does.
So he's the best unofficial source to confirm this.
Yeah.
So here's what we got. May 2016, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Yeah. What a fucking lame-ass name.
That one we know is coming out.
That's confirmed.
July 2016, Shazam.
Right. I knew that one was probably coming.
Christmas 2016, Sandman. May 2017, Justice League. July 2017, Wonder Woman. Christmas 2017, Flash and Green Lantern Team Up. May 2018, Man of Steel 2. So that's what this Phase 1 is looking like.
4 years away for Man of Steel? Wow. That is a long time between Man of Steel 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we're looking at.
Of course, then we're looking at 2 years before even the... It's 2 years away before the first of this series of movies.
Right.
And that's 4 years after the... Because wasn't it 2012 when Man of Steel came out? Or 2013? Was it last summer or the summer before?
I think it was the summer before.
To the Cloud.
Yes. And let's see. And the funny thing about
2013.
Okay, 2013.
So it was last summer.
The funny thing about this is Batman vs. Superman was meant to be Man of Steel 2, and then they just kind of took a strange left turn.
Right. It grew into a Justice League prequel instead.
Right.
Because it will be featuring several heroes that will become the Justice League, including appearances by Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, rumored the Flash may be in it. Aquaman, I think, was talked about. Mm-hmm. So, that's... So, yeah, it became a prequel for Justice League.
But I have to say, some of these choices seem a little bit risky. Shazam specifically.
I think that's a great idea. I'm not going to lie here. I think that a Shazam movie is a great idea. I think that they should separate it from the rest of the group. I think it should be its own thing and not have anything to do with... Kind of like how Fantastic Four and the X-Men franchises are each their own thing, and then you've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has nothing to do with them. Oh, and Spider-Man. I think Shazam should do its own thing. Because I think he's a great standalone hero.
I just think that Shazam is a little bit risky because of the naming. I mean, commonly he's known as Captain Marvel. We've always had name disputes.
That's actually changed. With New 52, he's no longer Captain Marvel.
I know.
He's just Shazam.
I know, but there's potential for murkiness there.
Yeah.
I think Sandman is a very odd choice for a movie.
Again, that's one of those that they'll probably... That one would probably be better off on its own as well, not really tied in. It depends on which version of the Sandman you're using. If you're using the classic Justice Society Sandman, that would really only work if you're using the rest of the Justice Society. If you're using the more recent, like, grandson of the original Sandman, then that works well because it's a Vertigo title. It works better on its own.
Yeah. I don't know what they're...
See, we don't... And that's the thing. Because these are unconfirmed, we don't know how many of these are actually going to tie into the Phase 1 concept, like the way Marvel did.
Right. Well, according to sources, there will be cameos of superheroes in future installments. It sounds like we're going to see Cyborg and the Flash show up in movies before they're actually a main character in Justice League.
Gotcha.
So it sounds like they want to tie them together. Some of these I think would be hard to tie together. And as far as a Wonder Woman movie, I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, amen to that. I'll believe a Wonder Woman when I actually pay my ticket and sit down and watch it. And let me tell you, I will pay my ticket and watch it. I don't care what kind of reviews it's getting. I will go see a Wonder Woman movie, and then I will tell you how I really feel about it. Because I love the character, and I know you and I don't agree on this.
No.
I love the character of Wonder Woman and Diana Prince. When they are done properly, it's a great concept. And, you know, I don't think she's gotten enough of a due. And part of that is because I both blame and praise the Linda Carter series. But because it was so iconic, it has kind of left people with, it's already been done really well. Let's not touch it. I think that's what a lot of the problem is. I think that's why the Wonder Woman TV series didn't take off, is because it wasn't going to live up to the standard that the Linda Carter series had set. And yes, it's a dated series now, but it set a really high quality standard for the time period, and they want to meet that same kind of concept of quality with our new abilities.
Right.
And I don't think they were going to be able to do it, and so they said, let's not fuck with it.
I'll be amazed
if we're not going to be able to be perfect.
I'll be amazed if this actress can pull it off. I'm still...
Yeah, I'm not sold on the actress. I will admit that. I'm not sold on the actress. I think she's a perfectly fine actress. I think she's very attractive. I don't think she fits the bill.
No, I completely
and specifically
agree.
the build. Wonder Woman needs to be a powerful
An Amazon.
woman, and this woman is not. She's tall and light.
And I know Lucy Lawless is too old for the role now, but back in the day...
20 years ago, she was
Xena.
Perfect.
And I know there's other women out there that look like that, but somebody that looks like she did on Xena. Yeah. That's what Wonder Woman should look like.
Someone that can pull off the concept of powerful is what you want. Sexy and powerful.
Right.
Let's face it, Wonder Woman needs to be sexy and powerful.
Xena.
Yeah. And this actress, what I've seen of her, doesn't fit the bill. However, that being said, if they have put her on an intense workout to bulk her up a bit, to really tone her up and give her some power, I think she could pull it off.
We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sold yet, but we'll see what happens. But then again, I'm not sold on Ben Affleck as the new Batman, so...
Batfleck.
Right.
Batfleck. I love that.
Batfleck. And Flash and Green Lantern team up. I really, really had hoped that when push came to shove, it was going to turn out to be a Green Arrow Green Lantern team up. I would love to see Ollie and...
I wouldn't mind seeing all three. I think the three of them doing something together would be kind of cool. But if you're going to do a team up, having Hal and Barry together is not a bad concept.
No, but
Hal and Ollie is also a good one.
Hal and Ollie have just always, back into the comic books, they've always worked so well together. I would have loved to have seen that on the big screen.
Hal and Barry have always worked well together too. Those two different teams, but not all three together. Because Barry and Holly, Barry and Ollie butt heads. I have to slow down when I'm speaking. Too much caffeine.
At least that's one thing that Arrow got right.
Yeah.
And I'll be quite honest, I would just like to see somebody other than Stephen Amell play Ollie.
Okay.
The dude cannot act his way out of a paper bag.
I caught a glimpse of a teaser trailer last night for The Flash. I love the costume.
Oh my god, I think it's awful.
Nope, I love it. I'm not going to lie. I think it works.
Oh, I think it's awful. Okay, getting a little bit off.
Just a little bit. At least we're still on DC.
Onto The Flash. I read something the other day where DC contradicted themselves in the same statement.
Oh, that's awesome.
They said this was going to be the most, and I'm going to get the quote wrong, but the gist of it is this. This is going to be the most faithful DC live-action adaptation ever. They immediately followed that up by saying that Barry has a whole new origin.
Okay, now that's not bad. Okay, so Barry's got a whole new origin, but it's a faithful adaptation of the character of Barry. While it may change his origin, it still feels like the character. See, I think that's what they're trying to say.
But it sounded weird because...
You're right, it's phrased weird.
This is a faithful adaptation of The Flash, but Barry has a new origin, and he's brunette instead of blonde, and Iris is black, but it's a faithful adaptation. I just think it's funny.
It is a funny way of phrasing it. Now, don't get me wrong. I will always love the John Wesley Shipp.
God, that was awful.
Version of the costume. I like the costume.
That was awful too.
Whatever. That one actually looks like the comic book does. I mean, that looks like what he should have looked like.
It's the hood.
Maybe.
The hood's too bulky.
Well, but what are you going to do? It's Barry's hood. Anyway, my point is that while it is a different take on the costume, I think it works pretty well. I like it.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to give it The Flash 3 episodes. See what happens.
And I'll probably do the same.
And I'll probably... I know that Amell is going to guest star as Ollie at some point in the season.
At least in the pilot, I believe.
So I'm going to... Anytime there's a crossover, I'm going to have to watch that because I watch Arrow. Mm-hmm. And now that Barrowman is been moved from recurring to cast member, I'm definitely going to have to watch this season. Plus... And I say this very cautiously, it looks like there's actually going to be some good stuff on Arrow this season. I say that with the most caution possible.
And see, I haven't been watching Arrow, so that's not... I have no opinion on that. So that's why I don't care about the crossovers or anything like that. I just want to see a good Flash TV series.
You know, if it turns out to be a good Flash TV series, I would be stoked. Because we need a good comic hero series. To be honest, my money's on Daredevil being better than The Flash. And I don't even like Daredevil.
I think that we're going to see a really good outing from these Marvel TV shows that we only know a little bit about. But Daredevil, Luke Cage, I think was going to be one of them. Mm-hmm. All the ones, whatever they come out with, I think are going to be really good. I know that they'll all tie together. They're all going to lead up to a Defenders series. And they're all tied in. They're all concurrent with the Marvel Universe. They will,
which I think is great.
They're playing it very smart.
Which, unlike the DC TV shows, Arrow and Flash tie together. Gotham is its own thing. Smallville was its own thing. Mm-hmm. None of the DC shows, save for these two, tie together. Marvel's tying their cinematic universe and their TV universes together, which I think is an amazing concept. The Marvel Universe just keeps getting bigger and better, and
as long as they keep doing it right, I think it's going to work out well.
And DC doing this Phase 1 or whatever you want to call this set of movies, I don't think anything that they have shown us to date even compares to rivaling what Marvel's doing.
Right.
There's nothing in there that makes me go, oh... Well, maybe they're going to get on the same level as Marvel. None of this is on the same level as Marvel. And if that's what DC is trying to do, they're still not in the ballpark. That's my opinion. Do you agree?
We've said it time and again. DC dropped the ball early on and hasn't been able to pick it back up.
And this doesn't help.
You know how you see that every now and then. It's either a cartoon or it's just a goofy old man. He drops something, and every time he bends over to pick it up, he kicks it. That's DC.
And they keep trying.
They keep kicking the ball as they're trying to pick it up, and they're like, oh.
You see efforts coming from DC, but nothing that gets them any closer to Marvel.
Yeah. From
From the time they let Joss Whedon go, it's all been downhill. That was the moment, I think, when...
Well, hang on. They didn't let him go. He left.
Well, that they let him... I don't mean they fired him.
They allowed him to leave.
That's what I mean. They let him go. Instead of saying, dude, no, wait, we'll pay you more.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't even that. It was... They wanted something... He wanted something different. They couldn't meet in the middle, and the production schedule was going to be difficult at best.
DC should have made any concessions that he wanted because look at what happened.
I would tend to agree, and you have to believe that they're kicking themselves in the ass based on the outcome of the Avengers.
I really do feel like that was a turning point.
Yeah, that's where
that's where
the ball dropped.
That is when DC had the opportunity to either overtake Marvel or at least be on the level with Marvel, or not, and they didn't keep Joss Whedon around. Marvel got him, and here we are.
I'm also not real... I'm still not sold, and it's not the fact that it's Ben Affleck. I'm not sold on the concept of another new Batman. This is in the span of 25 years. We have had three, not actors, but three versions of Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Yes.
We have we'll call it 27 years.
The Burton verse, as it's called.
You've got the Burton verse, which granted had three different actors, but they were the same Bruce Wayne
version
Batman.
Of yeah.
Then you had the Nolan trilogy, and now you're going to have whatever this turns out to be, and it's a different actor, different costume, different Batmobile, different role,
different Bruce
than what Nolan did. And I don't know that that's the best way to go.
I still wish they would have let me cast it. In my mind, I have Batman down. Because, and I've said this before, but I'm going to quickly say it again. The problem with every actor, except for, oh my god, his name just escaped me. The voice actor. Kevin Conroy.
I was just going to let you flounder.
Who didn't do it live action, but still got the voices down perfect.
Right, let's face it. Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill. They are the iconic versions of those characters, and they're not even live action.
Right. But every live action actor that's played him, in my opinion, either did a great Bruce or a great Batman, or neither.
Right.
They never, not a single one of them got both down.
Right. Conroy, with just his voice, was able to project, this is Bruce Wayne, that's Batman.
Perfect.
He did a great job of it. I've said this before. I said that, go ahead and hire somebody to play a good Bruce Wayne. That's fine. Get Kevin Conroy to do the voice of the Bat, and just show him in shadow.
It would be better than the stupid voice box trick they did in the Nolan trilogy. God, that was awful. But my point is, if Affleck's going to do either one of them good, and I don't, my personal opinion, I don't think that he'll necessarily do either of them good. I definitely don't think he'll do both of them good.
Actually, I think he's going to do I'm not going to say anything about him playing the Bat. I think he's going to do fine as Bruce Wayne.
I was going to say, if he's going to do one of them good, it's going to be Bruce.
Right.
I don't know that I see him as the Bat. And I've said this before, and I'll say it really quick here. John Barrowman could do both. I think he's got it in him.
He could at least do Bruce. I don't know if he could do the Bat, but I know he could do Bruce. And the one thing I will say about Ben is I hope to God he covers up the Boston accent. I don't need the guy from Good Will Hunting as Bruce Wayne or Batman. How do you like them apples? No.
I'm sure they will.
Please no.
But yeah, if I was casting, it'd be John Barrowman, because Captain Jack, we saw a very serious Captain Jack in Torchwood, and the Playboy in Doctor Who. We know he can do two sides of the same character.
True enough.
I think he's definitely got the Playboy look of Bruce down.
Yeah, I definitely think he could do Bruce.
But I think he'd make a great Batman. And I know you haven't watched Arrow, but on Arrow he plays Malcolm Merlyn, who's also the Dark Archer. Mm-hmm. So you see him in that kind of dual role, and he pulls it off great. I think of the actors of that general age range, since they're clearly wanting an older Bruce, not a just starting out Bruce. Mm-hmm. In my mind, he's the perfect actor for the role. Every bit as much as I've said before, Matt Bomer would make a perfect Nightwing.
I think that what they probably should have done is casted Anna Kendrick as Bruce and Batman. This may be because I kind of love Anna Kendrick and I watch anything she's in.
Maybe Barbara.
I may be biased.
She'd probably make a good Barbara.
She'd make a good anything. I love Anna Kendrick. Oh my god.
Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Anna Kendrick, call me.
Thank you for watching, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter. All of our information is on Jackalope of Fire. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.